welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen. With me today is the woman who knows how to set personal boundaries, Alyx Stande. This is your daily dose of happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today. Dan Mangana is not going to be able to join us today. He'll be with us next week, hopefully. Well, actually, next week he might not either, because that's right. The first of the month, he always has something else going. So 2 weeks from today, Dan will be joining us again. But we're glad to have Alyx with us today. And despite the fact that she's been going through all kinds of stuff, she's still got her happy on. I got to give you credit for that, girl. That's not an easy thing to do. So well done for you.
Thank you. I try.
You do very, very well. Very, very well. And we're welcoming back Corey Hilton, who we had on the show about, what was it, 6 weeks ago, Corey, I think it was?
Somewhere around. I loved it so much, Walt. Yeah. I had to book right away and come back on. This is an addicted podcast. I'll tell you.
It is.
It's very addictive. Worse than drugs. No, I'm just kidding. It's great. Well, I really appreciate you.
Just change the word worse to better and you got it.
Better than drugs. Oh my God. Wow, that's something. I'm going to give some kudos to Alyx though. It's like one of those things when you're having a bad day and you're able to get through all that, it's a time when people should say they're proud of you for doing that. Everybody always says, I'm proud of you when you have some accomplishment that you get. But when you're going through tough times, that's when people need to be saying that they're proud of you. That's so true. Kudos to you. If you're going through some stuff and you're still in happy zone, proud of you for that.
Thank you.
And I barely even know you. We've just known each other for 5 minutes on screen. So there you go.
Right?
This is true. But we did have a great time, though, the last time you were on the show. And, of course, we heard all the story about, the exotic dancing career and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I didn't.
There was a couple stories. We didn't tell all of them.
We got to give her a little bit of a background on that. And
I need a little taste.
Like we were talking about before, we were going to have you back because you had so many cool stories to tell. So why don't we just get started? You can give her like a little overview of what you were doing, what you went through, and just bring a story in to kind of illustrate it for Alyx.
Wow. Do you want to cringe or laugh or cry? Take your pick.
All of it. Every last bit of it.
Oh my God. Okay. I'll give you one of
I want all the emotions this hour.
I'll give you a cringeworthy laughing moment and a crying moment that might be crying tears of joy after it's finished. So that ridiculously funny. So I'll just give you a little background. I was actually a male dancer for 25 years of my life from the age of 17. Yes, you heard that right. 17 till 43 years old. I was underage when I actually got in the industry. No, I was not in any way exploited. I actually wanted to go into the industry. That's a question I get asked a lot. But I will say that when I went through that game, there's a lot of things in the background that people didn't understand. They didn't know what it was really like behind that velvet rope. So I wrote a book about it. And in that book, there was a lot of actually funny stories. There was some stuff that was pretty hardcore. There was some things that were pretty raunchy. There was like all sorts of mixed bag of things, but it basically made you entertained, excited, and inspired, the whole 9 yards when you read it. Mm-hmm. But one of the funny stories that I have that I always like to tell was one of my most brutal injury stories. Now, Walt, did I tell you guys any injury stories last time? I can't remember if I mentioned it.
I don't remember an injury story per se, so I'll say no, but we'll kind of do it conditionally.
People love hearing about people's pain. It's like, that's why Jackass is so great. That's why Jackass is so popular. Everybody likes to see somebody fall flat on their face, right? Well, when you see a male dancer do that, it's even better because let's face it, people want to see, the stripper guy that's up there doing his egotistical stuff and then all of a sudden he just falls flat on his face. It's like, you're like, oh, but at the same time, you're kind of like, yeah. Okay. So anyway, this is what happened. I was doing a show and it was in this very original nightclub called Barry T's in Edmonton, Alberta, like the frigid zone of Canada. Like it's literally like a refrigerator there, like most of the year. And so I was out there and I was doing this show and it was in the rounds. So it was like you have the dance floors right in the dead center and there's like this crowd of girls. It's all the way around in seats. And then what they did was it was kind of sunken down. So they raised the dance floor up like 6 feet and they put it on this, they have the scaffolding material. And then on top of the scaffolding material is all plywood across this massive dance floor. So I used to do this one move that I only had like, I think 5 moves in my entire career that I threw a different spin on every time that I did it.
That's all you need.
That's all you really need. So I went ahead and did this show where I used to do this spin move. And it was like I'd spin and go all the way across from one side of the stage to the other side of the stage. So I did this one move, spinning. And then I used to stop and plant and then like kind of kick myself out the other direction. And when I'd stop and plant, I wouldn't even look where I planted. I'd look in the other direction, kind of the old, and I looked the other way and I went to plant my foot. But the problem was I planted my foot into air.
Oh, no, there he goes.
Yeah. And so like instead of actually like planting, I actually hit the corner, like the very edge of that stage. I hit it right on my ankle. And I was in a G-string, okay? Like I was already stripped down. I was in a G-string. So like I scraped from my ankle all the way down the inside of my leg, all the way down, and then bounced my crotch literally right off the side of the stage and flipped right over and ended up like on the ground.
I would have paid to see that.
Laying there 6 feet down. So the crowd's going wild, and then all of a sudden it just went, oh. Dead silence, like just dead silence, right? And so everybody, all my group of guys come running up. They think I broke my leg or something. I'm laying on the ground. I'm bleeding. Like I'm just like, oh shit, right? So I end up getting up and I scrape my sorry butt up and they're thinking, oh yeah, he's done, right? No. I just end up getting back up on the bloody stage. I'm like, this isn't going to stop.
Go on.
Yeah, the show's gotta go on. Blood, guts, whatever. Just go with it, right? So I get up back on this bloody stage. I throw my blanket down. And up here in Canada, I don't know if you guys are aware down in the States, but we have loonies and toonies for bills here for dollars and $2 coins. We have them. They're called loonies and toonies. So, of course, the girls tip a lot of loonies and toonies. So it's sort of like one of those things where a lot of the dancers would throw a blanket down on the stage or whatever. And the girls would just throw money at you because there was a 3-foot barrier at that time. You couldn't get right up in the face, right? So all these girls, after I fell off the stage and I'm bleeding all over the place, laying on my blanket, they all come up and they would never have normally tipped me the way that they did. But I had a line up across the bloody bar because they're all sitting there going, we got to give some sympathy to this poor son of a bitch. Like, I mean, good Lord. I mean, it was just one of those things. So I just think to myself, sometimes I look back on that moment, as much pain as it was and as crappy as it was to do it. It's one of the memories out of my entire 25-year career that I'll always look back on and laugh, but I also have the other side of it where it was like, oh, the nice side of the girls at ladies' night. They decided to actually help me out and throw a few loonies into my blanket to make me feel better about my sorry ass that day. So anyway, I just tell you a little story about one of the more compromising positions that I was in the industry. So
I have to admit, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, was it really worth it? I mean, seriously, you just injured yourself in a big way. Yeah, you did it also in a very humiliating way. That's another thing entirely.
True.
But you did it in a major way and you got paid for it. And how much pain do you have to go through to get paid?
Yeah, thank God, Walt, it wasn't an everyday occurrence, right? Like,
yeah, right.
I mean, the great thing, I think the best thing about it was before the age of smartphones where everybody's recording everything, right? So if that had happened today, I'd have had like a bazillion hits on YouTube right now. I probably would be retired based on just the amount of YouTube hits I would have got if I had posted it up.
Oh my God.
Pretty crazy stuff.
They'd have some sort of a crowdfunding thing for you. You'd be a millionaire at that point, right?
Go fund the male stripper. Yeah,
right.
Fund the male stripper, the poor guy, you know.
Like the evening news, new crowdfunding sends $150 million to a stripper who fell down on the stage and bled all over the place. What?
Feel for the guy. Yeah,
right?
No, it's funny. I even chuckle to myself sometimes when I think about like having this, as an issue that I had, an inner issue that I had for so many years, the subconscious block of having lack and always worrying about the what ifs in life. Now I don't worry about the what ifs in life. I really more worry about the what if nots in life. That's what I think about more now. But back before, I used to always think about lack and just like, oh, what if this happens? What if this happens? All that BS that everybody does. But the irony of that is how could I have been thinking that way? What if I don't have enough money? It was always kind of about money, but I was the guy that was having money literally thrown at him for 25 years of his life. And I'm sitting there deflecting it, worrying about all the what ifs. That's not being abundant. I should just say thank you. Accept the abundance. Thank you, my lady friend, for giving me this,
There's like an obvious disconnect going on there. I mean, you have the money literally being thrown at you and you think that you're lacking it. That's really interesting.
Weird, hey? Weird dynamic, but it is true. Yeah. Looking back, connecting those dots now, from the past, right? It's kind of interesting and kind of an interesting just self-discovery journey that I've been on. The irony of a lot of that stuff's been pretty crazy. So,
okay. So you've whetted our appetite here. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, whetted the appetite. So
you want to hear another one? Yeah. Oh God. Okay. So back in the day, they used to actually have this shampoo by the name of Pert. It still exists, I think, out there. Yep. And Pert, before, about 20 years ago, had a different chemical formulation. In fact, that chemical formulation used to, believe it or not, if you put it under black lights, it used to glow bright green, like really bright green. Wow. Doesn't do it anymore, I don't think. But back then, some of the dancers used to use it for shows because it was kind of a cool effect, right? You turn the black lights down, you pour it on your chest or whatever. The girls go crazy for the stupid green glowing stuff all over you. It's just the stuff.
So basically
Right.
what you're saying is that pert had phosphorus in it.
Possibly, yeah. Not probably the first thing that was horrible that went on or in my body. But what I'm saying is...
It's all priorities, folks. It's all priorities.
That's right. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. Like, you know, especially when you're a stripper. So I ended up out there and I'll never forget the town. It was a small town, again in Alberta of all places, in Edson, Alberta, this small little town, maybe a group of maybe 20, 30 girls max at this show. They're all kind of sitting around. So I do my regular act and then like they go, cause the lights come down. I grab the pert shampoo. I pour the shit all over me and the crowd goes wild, all that stuff. And then I wipe it all up after I'm finished the show. Glory days. Everything was good. Fine. Right. Well, that song ended. And then my encore song was a faster song. So basically they turned the lights back on. Well, guess what ended up happening? The glowing shampoo wasn't glowing anymore. And I missed a major patch that I didn't wipe up. It was like a big ass puddle that was sitting there like really big, right? So I'm just strutting around. I'm like, woohoo, doing my thing. And I just truck on by and I didn't even realize it. And just when he flicked the lights back off, like it was within like 2 seconds, he just went whoop and flicked it back on to just black lights. I didn't even see it. Wet banana straight into that bloody thing, flew straight up in the air, ass straight down in the middle of that puddle, took out the entire front row. The entire front row had like glowing green pert shampoo all over those girls. Like they just got dosed with it right off my ass.
Oh my God.
So perfect. It's
They
like
got butt splashed.
Yeah. So, glowing shampoo mishaps were actually part of my literal career. So, these are just the funny things you remember, right? Like that's what you remember. You don't remember all the, the macho BS that's on stage. You remember the when you landed your ass in a bunch of glowing shampoo. So yeah, anyway, that's a couple good cringeworthy funny stories to start off this podcast.
Probably why they stopped making pert shampoo.
It was all my fault.
Yeah,
It was all
I was talking about the phosphorus, but okay.
I'm just glad that wasn't invested in it. That means I didn't lose any money, so that's good. I like that.
Right?
They should have had a warning label on it. This is not stripper friendly. Like they just should have.
Right.
Some things should need the label though. Not everything needs a warning for everyone. Some common sense has to come in somewhere.
Well, plus you have to get that past the FDA. You have to get somebody in a bureaucratic office saying, okay, we got to do something for the strippers. I mean, that's hard to do,
Well, no, all it does is it takes one stripper to have one accident, and then now they got a whole disclaimer.
I know.
It's like what's her name? The Gorilla Glue girl. Have you guys heard about that?
I saw that. Oh my God. Like why?
Like why?
There wasn't even a show. It was you just did it. Like, at least you could have been doing it for a show or something, but.
So, let me explain what had happened was, okay, so when you're doing black hair and you want to put it in a nice ponytail, you have to slick it down with a lot of gel. There's a gel called Gorilla Snot Glue Gel. Okay. And it's very good gel. Okay. It's very thick, but this chick either ran out or missed, and I don't know if she didn't look at the label or what happened, but anyway, she went with Gorilla Glue.
Oh my God.
And put it in her hair, and her hair didn't move for like 3 weeks.
Didn't she have surgery?
She had to have surgery.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
Oh,
but she had that surgery, and they had to put her under and basically brush her hair with alcohol. They had to give her an alcohol bath to get all the glue out, and it took hours. And oh my God, it was horrible.
You know what?
But anyway, she's famous now.
You know what would have worked instead of surgery though?
What?
Glowing green pert shampoo.
I mean,
with the phosphorus in it.
It makes sense to me.
That's right. That's probably what would have worked.
By the way, Corey, I don't know if you saw Debbie in the live stream posted somewhere, some lady has a bright green butt print on her shirt somewhere that she framed and keeps a black light on.
Big fact.
Yeah,
it was me. It was me. I was in Canada.
It's like when you touch a rock star's hand and you just never want to wash it again. It's the same sort of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a status symbol statement right there. I kept the pert shampoo butt print. That's awesome. No,
well, it also makes an interesting point of conversation when somebody comes to visit. Like, what is that?
Like, funny story.
Funny story. Yes.
But, those are two examples of like funny stories that I told friends of mine for so many years, just randomly. Oh yeah, Corey, tell me a story. Okay. Randomly pop a story off. And then all of a sudden you should write a book. Yeah, I know I should have done myself for years. Right. So about time, I had to wait till I was 50 years old to do it, but I finally did it. So I don't know. Anyway, but
did you enjoy it?
Writing or falling in pert shampoo?
Well, not so much the falling in the pert shampoo. I was thinking more like the writing, but you can answer either way. It's up to you. I mean,
no, the writing process was really cool. The writing process actually really, in a lot of ways, really changed me. And I mean that in a really good way. Because it started off really kind of like, I'll tell you the truth. When I actually started writing my book, I actually took on a job doing security. I took on a 12-hour a day or a 12-hour a night, 7-day-a-week security job. Now, that's crazy, but I did it actually because I wanted to be paid to be able to sit there and actually voice note into my phone 25 years worth of stories.
So this was deliberate then.
It's very deliberate. Very deliberate. So that's what I did.
I'm wondering if the security company got their money's worth. I mean, maybe it doesn't matter.
Well, they did. Yeah. I still did my job, but I'm just saying it was kind of interesting because like, it wasn't that I was like striving to be a security guard, but what I'm saying is that it gave me the ability to make money while I was actually writing. And I sat there in my car in the middle of the winter and wrote my book like on a smartphone.
What does a security guard do? I mean, he sits there. I mean, there's not a whole lot
for hours, nothing, right? So
it's pretty straightforward. So,
I know. Look at the security at the Oscars.
Yeah, right. Oh man, don't even start on that one.
Don't go there now. Just don't do that.
It's like, oh geez, I got it. I've seen enough memes. I already get it.
Oh, the memes are killing me. The memes.
Are just, yeah. But for real, actually, after I wrote the stories, like, and I had all that stuff compiled over God knows how many years worth of stories, it got to that end point. I think I said this in the last show, but it's like, I just didn't feel like it was enough. Like stories are great. Everybody likes to be entertained by stories, but I wanted to make more of an impact. So it was like, man, this mess in my message, and there was a lot of mess in that message. I wanted to just kind of prevent some people from dealing with the same crap that I dealt with, right? So I went, as I said, I had some funny stories in there that can make you crack up, but the other side of it too is there's some pretty hardcore stuff in there. There's some stuff in there to do with addiction. There was some stuff in there to do with a lot of relatable things that a lot of people go through, again, just through my lens, which was a very unique lens, right? So
well, I remember that from when the last time you were on the show, we talked a bit about how you found it was almost like an eye opener for you, just how much dysfunction there was in the entire industry. I mean, how many people were doing the drugs, how many people were involved in really risky activities of all kinds, and you kept away from all of it. But you kept away from a lot of it, though. You did. You were talking about how you did. You stayed away from the drugs, for instance. You didn't really get into all that scene. You were just kind of like, what's going on here?
Well, I did and I didn't. Well, like there was certain things that I wouldn't do, right? Like everybody has their line, so to speak. Yeah, right? Yeah. But when it came down to it, like I did through my entire career here in Canada, like I was really, really devoted to staying really clean on my body in general, because I knew that this career was going to be based off of being able to maintain a certain image. So it's like you start screwing up, well, your career is going to be over pretty quick. That's, so I did maintained a long career due to taking care of myself pretty well. But when I went to Florida, that all kind of changed when I got down there, because I went into that world, that new world that was completely different. Nobody normalized me. Like I wasn't in the world of Canada anymore. I was in spring break world where everybody was dropping ecstasy.
Oh boy.
And, it was like, hey, and ecstasy opened up that door to emotions. That door didn't take me where I wanted to go, but I'm glad I walked through it because I actually learned how to express emotion, which I couldn't do before. Like, so there's a plus, there's a bonus to the side of it, I guess you could say. But when it comes down to, like I say, like the other people that you're associated with, I don't look down upon a lot of those folks, because when it comes down to it, I'd be hypocritical to do that. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that I didn't take the road that a few people that I know took, because they didn't really, I guess you could say, have the same type of career as I had. And no, I don't know anybody that lasted 25 years in the game. I just don't know anybody that's done it. So being real, but that's just the way it worked out. And at the same time, like, it's not putting myself on any pedestal saying that. It's just more so I'm just trying to tell my truth about what happened in the past. And I'm just like anybody else, really. I just had a really weird career.
Well, it's actually more like you were one of the few who actually managed to stumble across the finish line.
Yeah. At the finish line, stumbling across it as the guy that I never wanted to be. That's the funny part of it. Like, you know, I remember and I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but when I was first starting out, I looked at this one guy and he was like mid-40s and really shouldn't have been on stage anymore. Like even the crowd wasn't responding to him. He was just kind of out there having to do what he had to do. Mm-hmm. And I've always said that I don't want to ever be the guy that has to do what they have to do. I want to be doing what I love to do, not being forced. And so when I saw that guy at that age, I thought, oh, I never want to be him. Like whatever happens, I just never want to be him. And then ironically in the end, my very last show, I actually got convinced to go out and do a show after I'd already chose to retire.
Really?
So yeah, and that was really weird because like, this was the funniest part is that I'd already kind of been out of it for a while and I wasn't even working out really and I wasn't even tanned and nothing. I don't think I'd even shaved. And so, and I think I had one costume left and one G-string that I kind of had collecting dust in the closet, so to speak. I hadn't even burned it, you know? And so like I'm sitting there going, last thing I want to do is a show. And then all of a sudden a friend from high school calls me up and she's like, oh, Corey, you know, I have this friend of mine that's turning 40 years old. I'd really like you to do a show if you'd be open to doing it. And I was like, man, you don't want to see me. Like you really don't. Like I'm telling you. And she's like, oh, come on. And so I just went, okay, whatever. And I just threw out a massively overinflated price, like 3 times what I would normally charge, like just stupidly overinflated. So she just rejected. 10 minutes later, she calls me back. She's like, we're good to go. Oh, shit. Right?
That's where you sit back and say, damn, it should have been 10 times.
Yeah, I should have really went way higher.
Yeah.
And then I went out and did this act and it was like the wrong music and the wrong scene and just the wrong people. And it was just all wrong. And I just remember just walking out of that show at the end and I was like, this G-string that's collecting dust, I'm taking it into my backyard and I'm going to fire this sucker up and I'm burning it forever. And I burned it in the backyard and I haven't gone back since. So I'm not.
But that was to take out any doubt in your mind
that
exactly. Retiring was the good thing.
This honestly, was a final end. I mean, it was really you had this is it. I'm done. It was
Alex, I mean, for sure. It's like if you want to diet, you don't leave the ice cream and all the stuff inside your kitchen, right? You don't take
you eat all the
bad food out. You get rid of all the shit.
Oh, you throw it out? No, I eat it. And then I go on my diet.
Okay, well, that's
I'm like, I'm going to start my diet on Monday, so we got to eat all this junk food by the weekend.
I just give it to my needy neighbor, but I couldn't do that with my G-string because he probably couldn't do much of shit with that. So.
Not a used G-string.
I jokingly said that for so many years. After I get out of the dance industry, I'm going to start a secondhand sex toy shop. Definitely. Used sex toys. Corey's used sex toys.
That store will never make money.
Well, it'll open on Monday and close on Tuesday because the health department will come through, but that's another
Have you seen what people sell on the internet? There was a girl that was bottling her farts for crying out loud and selling it.
Oh my God. Yes.
So, like, I mean,
I've seen it on TikTok. There's women teaching you how to bottle your farts and make money. It's serious.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
because there's creepy guys buying farts. It's terrible. And these girls are making money.
We should all go into business and start a secondhand used sex toy shop. We'll make a fortune.
Listen, I don't want to give nobody pink eye.
Oh God. Well, that's first 20 minutes of this show has been interesting now, hasn't it?
Yeah. Ironically, Corey, you don't know this about me, but I was a stand-up comedian. I actually did a show at a strip club once.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was a female strip club. So it was like, you get ready all in the green room, but the green room's like where everyone gets ready. And it's like, okay, so it's just a giant locker room back here. Okay, great.
Yeah, can I have some plastic before I sit down? Yeah, I hear you.
Like, where was COVID? I needed my hand sanitizer.
For the entire room.
Yeah. Like, I'm just gonna stand, thank you.
You know what I love about stand-up comedians, though, in general? I give a lot of credit to stand-up comedians because you guys walk right into the fire and face failure. You just walk right in and you're just like, yeah, bring it. If I fail, okay, I'm gonna learn, but I'm gonna
do it again.
You know? Yeah, just do it again. And it's just like, there's not many, that's a rare breed that can do that. So I salute you. That's a lot.
Thank you.
And that's coming from a guy that took off his clothes for a living. So,
That's true.
As far as somebody like me is concerned, both of them are like way out in outer space, and I'm the one with the outer space background. So I mean, that's really way out there.
Come on, Walt. I think I'm going to hire you. I'll be your agent. You can be you can be the podcast comic
Walt
book stripper.
Is 6'8". He could make some money, honey.
Dang, yeah, 6 foot. I used to say 6'4" and hung to the floor, but I got to make something up for 6'8". 6'8", he'll make you feel great. Welcome, Walt Thiessen. Bring it on.
I'm glad that Louise isn't listening to this episode.
I'm just kidding. Oh my God.
And if I can make a stand-up comic crack up, I'm in the wrong game right now. What the hell am I doing over here?
Oh my God. He said 6'4" and hung to the floor. Wow. All right then.
I used to actually have some great toasts when I used to MC too. It was great. I remember like my toast. I can still remember the toasts. Here's to the girl in the little red shoes. She drinks her liquor. She drinks her booze. She's not a virgin, but that's no sin because she still got the box as the cherry came in. That was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one. What was the other one?
There's never a snare drum and trap around when you need one. I mean,
yeah.
One.
Yeah. Oh, what's the other one now? Oh God, I can't remember it. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. I used to love doing emceeing. That was a lot of fun too.
Man,
but I still miss the adrenaline rush of being on stage. It was better than any drug I ever did. I really enjoyed it, getting emotions out of people. Like I said, laugh, cry, whatever. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Well, we call this your daily dose of happy, but we're hitting a new level today, I think.
There you go. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, the reactions we're getting from the people in the live stream. Debbie saying, I can't even tell you how much I need to laugh today, so thank you all.
Is that
yeah, me too. Me too.
Is that your Debbie?
Like
Debbie
sure.
that was on?
I'm not sure which Debbie this is. It's just listener named Debbie. It's just
okay. I was on Debbie's show earlier today. That's what I was wondering.
Oh, Debbie G. No, this isn't Debbie G. This is a different Debbie. I know who you mean. Yes.
Yeah. Grotto Debbie.
Yeah, Debbie G does the Friday show with me, but yeah.
Yeah.
And Sam's saying this is a hilarious episode so far. In fact, he also made a comment earlier. He says, I'm not sure which is more peculiar, selling or buying bottled farts. I have to agree with him on that one.
Ooh, that's bad either way.
I think buying is definitely the creepier part.
Is it really? I mean, I just imagine the process of bottling it. I mean, really?
But think about it though. Like you have, okay, say I have a dress I want to get rid of. Okay, I'm going to sell it on Marketplace. But what the person does with the dress, that's what makes it the creepy part. Like if you're going to dress up a dead body, like that's what makes it the creepy part. So it's not the bottling the farts. I mean, it's weird. It's not the bottling the farts. It's what they're doing with the farts that they get.
Yeah, they should have a warning label.
Yes, that's the first time I ever heard a dress compared to a fart.
Well, I'm just talking about selling goods online.
Okay.
I think that the bottled farts should have a warning label for sure, because it is hazardous to your health. I mean, if you are breathing that stuff in, it's not good for you. It's worse than
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah, it's hard.
You get that too close to your face, you're going to get pink eye. It's terrible.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Anyway.
Also, it should be labeled on what you ate.
Wow. I feel so much more connected to you guys now.
I'm feeling grossed out is what I'm feeling.
I'm getting a little queasy. Yeah.
I mean, I got OCD, so I would definitely be labeling mine like Taco Tuesday or like Watermelon Wednesday, you know.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What have we unleashed?
It's almost like different strains of weed.
Exactly. But you can only come to Alyx to get Taco Tuesday, so get your subscription today.
Okay. I don't know how to convey this, Corey, but Thursdays are usually great. They're great because, not just because of Alyx, but also Dan, who can't be here today. When those two get going, it gets really crazy. Alyx, I think we've exceeded the Alyx and Dan show.
Possible. Not going to be possible.
I mean, this is
just wild.
Yeah, I'm going to text Dan later and be like, we're starting a fart selling business, so get on board.
You know what?
I can hardly wait to see his reaction on that one.
And I just did that. I just did Dan's show recently as well. I know Dan well, so yeah, it's actually pretty cool. He's a great guy. I love Dan.
I know exactly his reaction.
Yeah.
What's that?
He's going to say, so what flavors are we selling to the vegans?
That's right.
And you know what? When he says it, Alyx, he would say it so good with his accent that people would respect him.
Yes.
Well, isn't that nice that he said that so eloquently?
Everything in a British accent sounds so much more, so much better.
Bottle the farts, bottle them. God, I'm dying over here. Oh, this is the funniest episode I've done ever. I swear, this is the best one.
Well, welcome to Thursdays.
And you know what? Yeah, on top of that, I was even showing Debbie earlier. I have
a taco cat.
Pussy tacos. They're pussy tacos.
Okay.
With nachos in space that actually kind of fit the background that Walt has right now. Just like it is, it's space back there. There's nachos flying in space with the pussy tacos. Debbie was killing herself laughing. We were losing it over the pussy tacos earlier. It's so funny.
Now I'm looking behind me to see if they're floating behind me in space.
Yeah, right. That'd be
I'm waiting for your cat to walk by just to make it even better.
And of course, Corey, he's a black cat, so it would just add to the whole effect, you know. But
I have a black cat too. I really honestly do.
Like, yeah.
His name's Higgins. But yeah.
Higgins? Okay.
Higgins, yeah. Named after the original Magnum PI character. I know you can remember
that
well.
character, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Good old Higgins.
I'm sorry, who?
Yeah, I know.
She's the queen of TV, but only up, before.
Only up until I was born, my bad.
Starting like the turn of the millennium. Anything before that, forget it. She doesn't know.
Yeah, nothing ever happened before you were born, so.
That's what I've been telling my mother. I was like, what did you even do before I got here? How bored were you?
Yeah, it must have been a boring world.
It's like people about the pre-internet world. I mean, what'd you guys do?
Well, obviously they were bored enough to have sex and make me, so.
That's about it.
They did something.
Wow. Yeah,
it was the best decision they ever made.
Glad they didn't have the ability to go to the used sex toy shop.
I would have been born with a third eye with a yeast infection. That's what my pH would have been all the way off. Like,
oh my God. Oh, this is epic. Oh man, I gotta wipe the tears out of my bringing eyes over here. This is great.
This is the way it goes on this show. I mean, we're reaching new levels today. I have to admit to that.
Yeah,
but this is the way it goes because we can actually start the show feeling kind of blah. And honestly, that's where you were. You were looking lower than I'd seen you in a long time. And
it's been a while.
And oh my God! And all of a sudden you're back to the old Alyx again. It's like
he's 6'4" and then straight to the floor. So I was like, okay, I'm here for it. Let's go.
Don't even get me talking about my my sex toy soap dish idea for the bathroom. We'll go and we'll be here for days.
Late. You gotta say it. What happened? Please tell.
You can't just leave it hanging like that. It's not.
You just can't.
That's what she said. Yeah. Right. So.
I have never seen Alyx fall over. That is great.
Oh my God, I thought I was the only one who did that's what she said joke. Stop.
So, being that I actually did work in a sex toy shop while I was a dancer in Florida, kind of like moonlighting over there. And so, yeah, I saw some interesting sex toys, you know, they had everything from like the Jenna Jameson vagina that was basically in a pelvis and all the rest of it. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if you just were in the shower and you had a soap dish that you could just kind of turn around and do what you had to do in the shower and just kind of clean it off and friggin' slide it back in there, and it's convenient and you get clean at the same time. Like, you know, I mean,
it
just a thought.
To the phrase "clean fun" is what it really is.
Yeah, clean fun. Don't even need any glowing perch shampoo. You can just do it to it. While you're hanging around in here, you know. This is getting grosser and grosser by the minute.
That's the trick. But isn't that the trick? I mean, even when, as a stripper, certainly, how far do you go before it becomes raunchy? Before it becomes just not acceptable?
There's no rules. There's just no rules.
No rules for comedians either.
No, there's no rule. I mean, really, you know, I mean, that's what I'm kind of saying though, Walt, is that, you know, when I'm discussing these things as far as even the stories in my book and stuff, these are from a foregone era of complete and total political incorrectness. Like, you couldn't get away with this now, right? You say that to somebody like now and it's like, oh my God, this generation would be so triggered they'd be in their bedroom crying for the rest of the day because they heard about some guy that spread perch shampoo on his, you know, glowing soap dish in his freaking shower, and all of a sudden it's like, Jesus, their brain just goes, you know, so can't handle that stuff in this generation. We were tough back then. We were the kids that fell off bikes with no helmets on and played with lawn darts. right?
Speak for yourself. I was not that kid at all.
What's a lawn dart?
You don't even. Oh, Alex, you missed out. Lawn darts were the best.
They were legalized weapons.
They were legalized weapons.
Yeah.
They were like, you ever heard of like playing horseshoes?
Yeah.
Okay, same thing, but with darts. So you have this dart, right?
Oh
it's
my
got
God.
like the freaking little wings on it. And you throw it up in the air and you try to like stick it closest to the pin, right? So like people would throw it up in the air, and of course, you know,
and this is like a heavy thing. This is not
it
like
could just land on any child, though.
Oh yeah, totally, right? So that was what the 70s were all about. Throw some lawn darts around in the backyard, right?
Oh my God.
Lawn darts were a thing. Yeah.
And I have to admit, I never heard of anybody being assaulted with a lawn dart, and I'm kind of shocked I never heard about it. Because seriously, these things were weapons.
True story. They were weapons for real.
They really were. I mean,
I thought growing up in the 80s was rough. Jeez.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. No, the 80s was, actually, the 80s was great. I was glad I was a teenager in the 80s. Oh, my God. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was awesome. So good. So good. I had the like long blonde Bon Jovi hair, like the perm streak stuff.
I believe it. I can picture it.
Totally. Yeah. I worked it as much as I could, and then I decided to get out of that and cut it and go into the stripping game.
Yeah. Wait, you cut it and then went in the Bro.
Yeah, I did.
You know how much more money you would have made if you kept the hair?
You know, I think that it depends on who it would have been for, because for myself anyway, where I was going, I'll tell you a quick little story. I was actually I was in a modeling agency, and it was called Richards in Vancouver actually. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to be in this industry, I need to have short hair at that time because it was very in style at that time. So I went and cut my hair. After I had my portfolio put together, I walk in with this portfolio with long hair and go, "Oh, here you go. You know,
oh, no.
what can we do here? Like, are you going to put me onto the catwalk? What are we going to do? We're going to do print." And she's like, "You shouldn't have cut your hair."
Told you.
Like, what? She's like, "Yeah, if you had to cut your hair, you'd be in Italy right now, but we were looking for a long haired guy and you just cut your hair." So, yeah. So I made that mistake just assuming that was what the world wanted, looking through my lens. As I have so many times, not getting other people's feedback, which is something that I've definitely learned in life, to get other people's feedback. And so that was a mistake. Yeah. I learned the hard way. Not as hard as falling off the stage, but still. It was so,
well, after a while, you get to the point where comparison becomes almost impractical. I mean,
yeah, it's just, that was a tough thing for me actually, was comparison and perfection. I dealt with that like quite a bit. It was like most of my adult life, I was just in that game, like whether it was the bodybuilding stage or the stripping stage or whatever, we were always comparing against each other. And now we've got social media where everybody has that infiltrated into their lives and their houses and their airbrush world of social media. So yeah, no, I try to deflect that as much as possible and work against that grain. So trying to kind of what you can control in your own little bubble anyways. So
hey, Alyx, I don't know if you saw Debbie's comment, the last one that she wrote in. This will give you an idea of how dangerous it could be growing up in this little kid world of the 70s and 80s. She says,
I can't see the comments because that's why my phone keeps hanging up, because every time I go to look at the comments, I accidentally hit the back button and it hangs up. So please tell me what's going on.
I will read it to you. It says, the boys in my neighborhood used to shoot at us girls with BB guns. I got shot. I got shot in the boob. Thankfully, it was just a little BB.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got shot in the vagina with a paintball gun.
Oh.
First and last time I'll ever paintball.
Oh.
Yeah.
That just hurts thinking about it.
Yeah, hurts remembering.
Ooh. At least somebody could have recorded it and put it on YouTube so you could have monetized it. Man,
there was nothing to record back then.
That's what I'm screaming. Same here. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Even for Debbie there, if she had gotten the BB gun boob shot, she probably could have made some money on YouTube too.
Yep.
Yeah.
If YouTube was available at that time. Yeah.
Well, back then you could have made money on, what is that? America's Funniest Videos. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Maybe. If they would show it, possibly. Hard to tell.
They show guys getting kicked in the nuts all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is that
never
really
gets old?
Thing?
Yes. Still is funny.
I don't know. Never gets old unless you're the person that's getting kicked in the nuts.
That is.
I don't think for guys getting kicked in the nuts is hilarious, but
no, even
I
Grays
find it
is
hilarious.
Not fun.
It's just straight painful. That's all it is. I mean,
yeah, well, getting punched in the booth is no fun either.
For about 20 seconds, it's just there's no there's nothing else in your world except pain. That's it.
Yeah.
This has been a very mature conversation. For the first 40 minutes of this podcast, I think we've gone through lawn darts, BB guns in the booze, paintballs in the vagina, and freaking stripper stories of glowing pert shampoo. God, can we sink any lower, you guys?
I'll tell you what, I did have second thoughts after we talked about having you come back. I said, Jesus, this is really a good idea.
Yes, a very good idea. I co-sign on this. Come back any Thursday you want.
Hey, you can't laugh at yourself. You can't laugh at anybody else. And I love to laugh. So,
Big facts. Big facts.
I'll always tell some self-deprecating story to be able to make people laugh. I don't mind. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So then let's hold you to that one. What's the next story? You gotta tell us one more.
Oh, God. Okay. Let me think here.
It sounds like we're
down the list.
Right?
Let's go down the list. Okay. So I got a gooder here. I think are we in a family friendly environment? No. Okay.
Well, we don't market it as for children, so it's not really designed as a program for people under 18.
I would say PG-13.
Are we PG-13? I can't tell this story for PG-13. If we're in between R and X,
we're more like PG-17. I mean, it's like
okay, PG-17. I'll say that. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was 17 when I started stripping in the nightclub, so I'm going to roll with this. Okay, so. So there was a show one time. This is kind of a funny story. I haven't told this, but it is in my book where, I was in Florida and we had a main club that we worked at in Northern Florida. It was the largest beach club in North America. So we used to actually work there through the spring and through the summer. And then when we hit the winter, we'd go out on the road and run all over the southeastern US and into Canada and everything else. So in the spring and summer, we used to kind of do this rotation where we'd do, I think it was Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at the main club in Panama City. And then we would move over to this other club in Fort Walton Beach or Destin, Florida. That was kind of a Saturday night and Thursday night gig, right? So we went out to do this Saturday night. It was on a long weekend. I'll never forget it. It was like, I think it was July 4th, one of the big weekends, right? So there's a shitload of people in there and everybody's partying and there's men upstairs and then all the ladies are downstairs for the ladies' night, right? So, but the men could actually see the ladies' night from upstairs. But then after the ladies' night and all the show was over, they actually used to hold a wet t-shirt contest after that. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the Dirty South before and seen wet t-shirt contests in the Dirty South, but it's pretty raw. Like it's pretty crazy stuff that happens at wet t. It's not just about dropping water on some girl's boobs. It goes further. It really does. Some nights it gets really crazy. On this particular night, it was insane. Okay. So, so me and the guys, we do our show and I was like band of brothers with these guys, right? Like we were like just a bunch of toxic twins. We were partying our tails off. One guy was drinking. One guy was doing cocaine. One guy, me, was doing ecstasy. The other, right. The other guy was smoking pot. So like all four of us were doing different shit this night, right? Like we're just being stupid. So we're all in our little bubbles having fun. And then all of a sudden the club owner says, "Hey guys, we want you to be special guest judges tonight for the wet t-shirt contest." Meanwhile, 5 minutes ago, I just dropped a hit of ecstasy in my mouth, right?
God,
So I'm just like,
see where this is going.
Oh, okay, perfect. I guess I get to entertain for a little while longer while I'm ripped out of my skull. This is going to be fun.
Oh, good.
So anyway, we're all like, okay, we took it on. And so of course, we were the judges. We're sitting there behind our table. We all have our cards with our numbers on them and stuff. And each girl's coming up and she's doing a different show or a different thing. And it was pretty tame. The girls are getting the ice and water dropped on them. They got the shirt on, all that same old thing. And we've seen a million wet t-shirt contests. So no big deal. We're all kind of laughing about it. And then all of a sudden this one girl comes up and she was a stripper. Like there was no denying it. She was a professional. She probably worked at one of the clubs fairly close to the area. She's going to come over here. She's going to get the frickin' prize for the wet t-shirt contest. She's going to go above and beyond everybody because that's what she does on her stage anyway, right? So she goes up there and I swear this happened and it's just the worst and it's so hardcore. So she has this little kind of swimsuit bottoms and she has a lollipop stuck on the side of her little swimsuit bottom and she comes out there and she's got her t-shirt on with her, swimsuit top on and she comes out, takes the water like a champster and wheels the thing off and the crowd goes wild, right? But she pumps it up a notch and they had these on that main stage on the top, they had these 3 speaker boxes that were maybe like 2 feet tall. And we used to stand on them when we would be doing shows, get a crowd going and stuff. This girl goes down and does a split over top of these 2 speaker boxes, takes her lollipop out of her frickin' side of her little thing, sticks it in her mouth, pulls it out of her mouth, and then slides it
right up in there.
Doing a split. Okay, doing a split. The whole place goes absolutely bananas. Like, just goes nuts. And then the poor blonde girl that's walking out there after her, like, you know, she's like innocent little girl from Alabama that's just out of college, and she's just like, forget it. You know, right. You know. So meanwhile, a little while later, me and the guys are like, you know, we're of course worried about our buddies because I'm sitting up there watching this happen. Ripped on E. I'm just like, oh my God. And like, we're all, like I said, messed up on different stuff, watching this whole whacked out event happen from center stage, looking at this whole audience going crazy, right? So that happened. And then after that incident, we were kind of looking around for my one buddy, Taz, in the group. And we were kind of like, okay, where did Taz go? And he was the one that was drinking, right? So we're like walking around. We couldn't find him. So we were concerned because we always looked out for each other. And one of my buddies says, okay, I think he might be out in the Turban. So we wheeled around the back of the club and we were kind of like looking, and we could kind of hear the Turban kind of shaking a little bit. And all of a sudden Brandon wheels open the side of the Turban, like slides the friggin' door open. And there's Taz, one of the guys in the group. And he's with the girl, the lollipop girl, in the back of the van, just, you know, giving her right there in the back of the friggin' van, right? And I'm just like, oh my God. Then after that happened, he did his thing. We closed down the bar. We go across the street to the Waffle House, and we got into a freaking food fight with the Waffle House staff at 3:00 in the freaking morning. So well, that all happened in one night.
Waffle House, though.
Waffle House is crazy. I love Waffle House. So I do love
I've never actually been, but I've seen the videos. Like, it always pops off at Waffle House.
Oh, Waffle House, crazy train down there. Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome. Love some Waffle House, though. I miss that in Canada. We don't have no Waffle House here, so we're deprived. We have the waffle igloo. I'm just kidding. I had to say that. In the summer, it's the waffle teepee. Anyways,
I'm curious to know, how many Waffle Houses have you been thrown out of?
I've never been thrown out of a Waffle House, actually, because I was a steady customer. I was a regular. Like, you know, they would just come in. They'd be like, just like Norm on Cheers. They'd be like, Corey. You know, they'd walk in and be like, hash browns, scattered, smothered, chunked, and capped. Bring it. You know, so they knew right away. I'm just kidding.
I never knew.
I did the Waffle House tour for a while. It was a good time. In fact, even my guys in my group, actually, because I used to take the girls after shows instead of just going back to the hotel room. I'd take them to Waffle House and get to know them, because I actually like to get to know people. So They actually presented me with a Waffle House like tag one night on stage. They actually had one made in my G-string. They actually gave me one and pinned it on my G-string. It was the actual Waffle House tag. So good. Just the stories are endless, man. They're just endless. We can go on for days. So 25 years.
Alyx knows that I am a pretty good host. I'm pretty good at asking questions. I'm pretty good at keeping the flow going.
Oh, but I have questions.
Well, good. I'm glad, because after that last one, I'm speechless.
Okay, good. So how realistic is Magic Mike?
It's partial.
Partial?
Little Hollywood.
Yeah.
If you took my life, you get Magic Mike, Joe Dirt, and Forrest Gump. You throw them all together, you got me. I went on the 8-year Forrest Gump walk. I dated a girl from Georgia, and I kind of had a mullet. And on top of that, freaking, I stripped like a mother for like 25 years. So, you know, throw them all together.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah.
Wait, where did the Joe Dirt part come in? Because that's what I
lived in the southern U.S.
Gotcha.
I lived in Georgia, and, you know, I definitely saw a lot of redneck stuff when I lived in Georgia, being a guy from Canada that was, you know, kind of not from that type of place.
Right.
Kind of in your face. And I like defying the rules, though. Like me and my ex-wife, we always put ourselves in places where a lot of other people wouldn't go. We'd always, like, you know, we were the only white folks in the comedy club in Macon, Georgia. We'd go to BET comedy night because we'd just be in there like having a blast with everybody. We didn't even, we had a blast. In fact, that was probably where we had the most fun, because, and we were actually more, I guess you could say, welcomed with open arms, because we were just out there having a good time with everybody, and we didn't give a crap. you know, so like that was something that I could do because I'm very open to multicultural society and I don't care. Like here in Canada, we've got every color under the sun here, right? And it's like there's goods and bads with everything everywhere you go, but the blatant racism was just crazy to me when I first showed up in the States, especially in the South, you know. And I think it was my first couple of weeks that I was there, actually, and we went to a little place called Opp, Alabama. Here's a story for you, Walt. So we go to Opp, Alabama.
I can hardly wait.
Oh, yeah. You're just sitting on the edge of your seat.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm hanging on to outer space with both hands.
In outer space. And so, but yeah, so we showed up there and, you know, we had to get gas and pulled up to this gas station, and right on the gas station door, it said whites only.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
What year was this?
That was like about 20 years ago almost.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
And
really
I just sat there and I was like, I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
Yeah.
I could not believe what I was looking at. From where I'm from, I was like, that is as backwards as it freaking gets, and so absolutely devastatingly wrong in so many ways. So I was like, boys,
that's what cracked me up about people who are like, oh, get over racism. It was so long ago. No, bro.
No, not at all.
Hate to break it to you. It's still here.
Yeah, 150%.
That's pretty blatant. Let's be honest. That's really blatant.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, most of the racists have kind of learned to some degree how to cover it up if they really want to. But that's
in a way,
totally in your face.
In a strange way, though, what's worse? Anyways, but what I'm saying is that like we did that, and then we found gas at a different gas station. I wasn't about to fund that one, and so we ended up at this show. And this funny thing was, this show was at like a community hall. It wasn't even like a bar, right? And so we showed up there. This actually happened, and it's hard to even believe that it did, but we showed up, and, you know, there was a few women that were already there when we walked in the door or whatever. And I was just about to walk in, and I turn around and I look and I see coming in the driveway, I swear, it was a woman on a frickin' tractor. She drove a tractor to the gig. She drove in and parked a tractor.
That is the most southern thing I've heard of all day.
That was some redneck shit right there. I was just like, wow, just mind boggled. And then we did the show, and it was just absolute mayhem, because like it always seemed like the Bible Belt areas were like where women were just like so starved of attention from their husband in the right way that they were like just itching to get out there and feel a male body for a little while. So it was kind of like we did this show, and God, we barely got out of the Polaroids, and we had to like pretty much run and get into the freaking Turban and bail out of there because like somebody was going to get hurt. It was crazy. It was just really crazy. So
it's thirsty out there.
Yeah, the Bible Belt area has got a little nuts. In fact, there was even one we did in Rome, Georgia that was really funny. And there's some hardcore stories that come with these territories I won't even get into. But there was one that was just kind of like when you really think about like when you have to be creative with entertainment, right? And there's sometimes when things happen, like, you know, imagine, Alyx, if you're up there on stage and you're doing a comedy night and the speaker system blows out. What do you do? What do you do?
Yell.
Yeah, right? You do something. You got to do something. The show must go on, right?
Yeah.
So we were in Rome, Georgia, and we did the show again in a community hall. And all of a sudden we were like midway through and the speaker system blew out on the ladies' night. And I'm on the freaking mic, and I'm the MC, right? So I'm like, okay, so, we can do one of two things, ladies. We can end the show right now. And then it was like, pause. Everybody's just losing it. No. And I'm like, okay, then cool. Well, I'm going to need your help. I need some audience participation here, and we will continue the show, and we will dance our asses off, but y'all have to clap to the beat. So let's get going. Start clapping. And I swear those girls clapped for like a freaking hour. They just kept clapping and clapping and clapping, and we just kept going and collecting tips, and we had more fun doing that show. It was crazy as it was because it was total crowd participation, and everybody
gotta love
in.
the crowd participation.
Oh God, we had a blast. And again, those are the ones that you remember, like the ones that are the injuries or the ones that made you laugh your ass off, whatever it is. Like all the other shows in between could have went off perfectly without a hitch. I don't even remember them. But the ones that you had all the crazy stuff happen, yeah, those are the ones you remember, right? So yeah, so funny. No end to it.
There is absolutely no doubt that you had a ton of fun. You just, I mean, there are things that lots of people could come up with reasons why you shouldn't do what you were doing. You know, that there's all kinds of pitfalls in the career, but it's really clear you had a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, you know, and I mean, there was some down times without a doubt. Like I had some heavy struggles, you guys. Like, I mean, like I say, like when it was mainly when I was alone. Like it comes down to the loneliness thing, right? Like, you know, when the lights went down sort of stuff, right? And everybody, when you're in the spotlight, everybody wants a piece of your ass for whatever reason, whether it's money, whether it's to get into the club. There's always some other reason. They weren't your real friends, right? And then like you get into that zone of drugs and then all of a sudden like you're kind of alone inside that group. And then all of a sudden you're going into a different environment where maybe you're in a place where you don't know anyone. And then all of a sudden you're kind of looking for that connection and there is not around. And then you're by yourself and it's like sunrise and, you know, you're still strung out and you haven't slept for like 36 hours. And then, you know, like you get into this really weird headspace and that's where a lot of people end up, you know, cause you get into that zone where you're not rational anymore. Right. And I was there. And if it wasn't for the upbringing that I had, if it wasn't for the grandfather that raised me with his morality and his integrity and a lot of the things that he instilled in me, I probably wouldn't be here right now. And the shame of that part is truthfully that he passed away without knowing that he saved my life a couple times. But I didn't want him to know the rest of the stories in the book, to be honest, because I wanted him to still retain that thought of that kid that he raised, right? Like I wanted him to actually still have that innocence in the way that he thought about me and be proud of me instead of like, oh, the guy just, you know, did some crazy stuff like slipping and perched down.
But that's an interesting dichotomy though. That really is. Because what you're describing right there, because on the one hand, you describe him as somebody who taught you to be moral, and on the other hand, you engaged in behaviors that most people would consider to be ridiculous. And that's an interesting dichotomy. That's very interesting. I'm not judging it. I'm just saying that, wow, that's really quite a spread there, quite a range.
True, Walt, but I didn't hurt anybody. You know, the only person I was hurting through my entire career was myself at times. And on top of that, like the interesting thing was my dad was a bridge builder, right? So like he was like the guy that liked to build stuff. And so like when I went into the industry at 17 and he knew, like I didn't hide it from my family. Like that's the crazy part. Like I told him I was in high school and I was like, yeah, I got offered a job working at a club. Like, and they were like, well, you know what, kid, if you keep your grades up and you're not getting screwed up on drugs, like,
yeah, I guess you can have a job. I mean, less money out of my pocket.
Yeah, like seriously, they've literally said that to me. You get your ass to school and you don't get messed up on drugs. Fill your boots, kid. Go have a good time. Do what you want to do. Because they already raised 3 kids before me. So they were like, if they're going to hold me back,
you're the baby. You get away with murder.
Oh, yeah, I did. Totally did. Yeah. No,
I bet that firstborn was not allowed to be a stripper at 17 years old. I bet.
Different generation. No, they wouldn't have done it. They were out in the back playing with lawn darts. Those were safe.
Safe is a relative word. Yes. This is
shooting BBs at Debbie, you know? Like,
almighty.
So, yeah, no, it's just, crazy what we do as parents because we don't have manuals, right? And so it's kind of one of those things where I look back and go, yeah, they let me kind of do some crazy stuff. And then I also kind of think about it sometimes and I go, well, yeah, they actually passed down some crazy stuff that held me back from a lot of things in my life too, that were like, you know, fears and limiting beliefs and, you know, not really being abundant, so to speak, by any means. Like they were actually more on the other side of it where they're like, ooh, money's evil and always keep a quarter in your pocket, Corey, because you might have to make a phone call one day. Well, that doesn't really apply anymore. But I'm just saying, you know, like it's just interesting when that root of all evil thing, the money is the root of all evil. Well, if you look at it that way, yes, it is. You are correct.
You mentioned that parents don't have a manual, and you're right, but it's not just parents, it's also podcast hosts.
Especially when you interview my ass.
I mean, nobody ever explained to me, what do you do when your podcast goes completely off the rails because you invited it to?
You just ride it. Ride
That's about all you can do.
I hope that I get a plaque after this, Walt, that says LOA Podcast Guest of the Year. Like the plaque that they have at McDonald's.
It's only March, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, the Employee of the Month plaque, you know? Like,
I don't know how to tell you this. It's not going to be a plaque. It's going to be a G-string.
Oh, the golden one? Is it a golden one? Like when they bronze it and they put it up like boots, like they bronze it and put it up, bronze that sucker. There you go. Then there'll be no chance that anybody ever wears it.
Well, there's one thing I do know for sure. We got our laugh today. We got our daily dose of happy.
Yes.
So thank you for helping us have the daily dose of happy, Corey. This was
so fun,
this
you guys.
Was a laugh and a half.
I seriously love it every time I come on this bad boy, and I'll be happy to come on and blow Alex's mind again sometime, and we can talk about all the crazy stuff that I've done in my past. But I want you to actually tell me sometime. Next time, Alex, I want you to divulge a very embarrassing story that happened to you sometime. I showed you mine. You show me yours, girl.
I don't know. See, I don't get embarrassed though.
Okay. Well, maybe somebody got embarrassed for you. I'm just saying,
I'll think about it. I'll have to think about it
next time.
I'm gonna have to think about it. Come up with some stuff. I'm gonna ask around. I'm like, guys, what have I done that's embarrassing? I got a podcast to do. I'm gonna take a general consensus. I'm gonna post it on Facebook and see what the comments say.
And when you talk to them about that, ask them if they would buy an actual shower soap dish. Ask them if they would buy
from a secondhand sex shop.
From a secondhand sex shop. Because if that's the case, we are all going in business together. We are in business together. This is work now, boy.
The gauntlet has been thrown down. It is picked up and it has been posted on social media. So we're there.
I'm making a TikTok after this. I'm telling you right now.
I believe you. Good stuff. Oh my God, this has been crazy. Hey, Corey, before we go, I mean, I don't even know if this is necessary, but do you want to let people know how to find you?
I don't even want to call it a plug. Somebody could take it the wrong way.
That's what he said.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. Okay. Well, let me get my composure, please.
Composure? What's that?
Oh, I thought you said exposure. Okay, so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. It's poor Alyx over here.
I just started, guys. It's out of control. Oh, okay.
It's takeitoff.ca. Go to my website and get yourself a golden G-string. You can't get yourself a used sex toy there, but you can get yourself one hell of a great book. Takeitoff.ca. That's the place to go. Get my book on Amazon as well. I can barely get this even out. You can get it on Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Barnes & Noble, Chapters in Canada, whatever you want to go. You can find my book. Take it off. Just take it off.
You did very well. And I think we're all going to need a towel after this one. So thank you very much. This has been wonderful.
I got it. I don't even have to do, thanks, man. I don't even have to do abs tonight. My stomach's freaking done.
I'm good.
Yeah. This is great. We got everything done in one show. So thank you very much. Thank you. Good luck, podcast listeners. I hope you really enjoyed this one. If you didn't love this one, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry.
Sorry. We give up. Right?
You don't like this one. You ain't gonna like anything we got.
What I will tell you is this. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.